Hello, everybody. Let's just turn that music on down. It's been beautiful music. But we're live. I'm your hostess today, Enigmatic Rose 4, along with Father Loris.
Hello, it's me.
And Lambert.
Hello there.
EJ has gotten lost in a wormhole in space somewhere, we think, in Stellaris. Maybe we'll find him again next week.
He's doing advanced self-isolating in a wormhole.
Speaking of advanced self-ice, I know it's completely off topic, but there was a brilliant tweet by one of the probes that we've sent out into deep space, and it was like, I am now 20.3 to the power of whatever meters away from Earth, and it's like, this is advanced self-isolating flexing right here.
It is.
Apparently, Twitch chat misheard us, and they said DJ disappeared in a black hole, which is an old joke from a 24-hour charity stream with Horath. Yes. But no, not DJ. TJ is lost in a wormhole.
Maybe TJ is in DJ's black hole.
Oh, no.
Look, you never know.
Do we want to know?
No, we do not.
Well, that's
it's better not knowing.
When we set up a Patreon, that's something for the Patreon viewers only.
We set up a NoCB cast only fans.
Oh God. So
all right, should we talk about grand strategy games?
Yeah. Maybe before we talk grand strategy, there is another PDX expansion coming out tomorrow for City Skylines.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very
Sunset
true.
Harbor. It's not grand strategy, but it is Paradox. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the strategy in setting up your cities to run without, exploding to traffic problems.
Or,
it is a grand problem that you have, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it grand strategy.
Or you can strategically plan a poop tsunami just to see how many people die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that is also very fun.
Mind you, I think this Venn diagram for people who like city builders and grand strategies is a good overlap there, right? I mean...
Yeah, pretty
hard
close.
to find people who don't like
overlap. Long Game Short had a tweet this week, which was about the Maxis developer, the Sims developer, who's now working with the Paradox. Oh, what are they calling that branch over in California now?
Oh,
couldn't tell you.
it's gone. Sorry.
But there's the new branch in California, and it's being Paradox Tectonic. Thank you.
Of course. Yes.
Thank you, chat. But it asks how many people, if they had a Venn diagram of Hoi 4 players and Sims players, how many overlap?
Well, I know you overlap. You do.
Oh, I play The Sims religiously.
I enjoyed The Sims a long time ago. I'm not going to say I don't enjoy The Sims. I just haven't played it since the last time I did. And I enjoyed it the last time I did, so I don't know.
I know
it's been a long time.
Yeah, pick it up again. It's a really good game. Like,
I'm not sure if my wallet can
say
that.
It's one of those things you kind of... It's like a Paradox game. You got to get in on the ground floor, and then it doesn't hurt so bad.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as bad.
Every couple of months throwing a couple of dollars there, but if the game's been out a couple of years and you see just like, it's just a bit much.
That's true.
Well, and people say things about the PDX DLC, but at least they're all, $5 to $20. The Sims 4 expansions are $40.
Ooh,
and the content packs are... the game stuff packs are $20, and then just the content stuff packs are like $10.
I mean, like in no uncertain terms, they are massive rip-offs. Like stuff, I buy them because I'm a mug, right? I'll buy them anyway. Don't get me wrong. I'll pay £20 for like a pretty sofa in The Sims, but it's
made of sheep's wool.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they also had the issue of doing a... Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, being pregnant and also getting hit by allergies at the same time.
That's no problem.
Oof.
It's springtime.
Rough.
You've got
Would you
allergies
like to
for
tell
two
the
now.
Finnish weather that it's springtime? It would really need a heads up.
You're in New York, it's springtime. I don't know about Finland. I've not been there.
It's never,
well,
it's
I mean,
never
there's still
springtime in
snow on the
Finland.
ground, but it's been like this tiny little spattering of snow that just refuses to go away, and it almost goes away, but then we just have a snowstorm and it's back again for another week. It's like, make your mind up. Do you want to be spring? Do you want to be winter? Make your mind up. Stop with this garbage. Anyway,
Speaking of
Spring
making
starts
up
in, like, June.
minds, there's this whole new faction system that they're talking to us about for CK3, and people making up their
That's
mind
true.
and how you can get them to change it.
Oh,
they don't revolt on
No, this
you.
is definitely like the nicest dev diary of the week, I would say.
Yes.
I'm in love with this already.
I would agree with that. There are some things that I'm a bit iffy on, though.
Like what?
Well, if you scroll down a little bit to the first screenshot image that we've got, that red border, no word of a lie, that's fucking ugly. That's just ugly.
You know what? I first thought that was like just done in MS Paint, like to like
Yes,
just like
exactly.
a sort of
It does
think it's
need
dev guide.
some shading.
Significant altering.
yeah.
It needs the glow that you get in, the rest of the games. I mean, honestly, I think this is work in progress. Like, I think that
I mean, it
the
does say
border
under
being
development.
this. Yeah, exactly. It's still in development. So that's what I said in my dev diary video. It's like, that looks fucking ugly, but it's also something that I can see being changed. Like, it's a coder that's put it in place, and the art department has yet to be like, yeah, nah, that ain't going in, mate.
Yeah,
We're gonna get there.
isn't it?
Do you find this interesting? We actually get to see Venice for the first time, which is of great importance to Lambert and myself right now.
Venice is just an awesome place to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is the most detailed island we've had for Venice in any of the PDX games.
Yeah, it's not just like a massive
Yeah.
circle that is like massively out of proportion. I mean, it's out of proportion.
No.
still.
Having said that, have you seen what Venice looks like in the Emperor update for EU4? Because it has changed.
No, I haven't actually.
It has changed. Annoyingly, I just went to scan the EU4 dev diary, and the Holy See is covering it, so I can't tell you. But I saw it on the dev clash. Yeah, it's definitely changed. But anyway, we're talking about CK3.
Yes, we were talking about CK3, but we got distracted by Venice.
Is the Po
Yeah,
River
I mean,
in the right
it's-
place there? I mean, like that's not the Po actually, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, that's the Po River.
Is it? Is that
Because
where
that's the Po
estuary
River
is?
Valley.
I thought the estuary was next to Venice. Oh, maybe I'm just bad at geography. I think that's probably it. I thought
No, I don't think the
I thought
estuary came out.
was next to Venice for some reason. Or maybe I'm wrong on that.
We can take
I
a
don't think
look.
so.
To
Got
Google
the
Yeah, I mean,
power
Maps.
of
Google
the
Maps is-
internet on our side.
Aye. I will say, yeah, Venice might be looking good there, but as somebody who's also been very annoyed by Venice and their 1,000 freaking galleys, I'd say from that perspective, the Venice in Imperator is even better because it doesn't bloody exist.
Well, it was a
yeah.
swamp, and honestly, if we look at a real map of Venice,
Yeah,
Venice is
a lot
attached to the
smaller.
mainland.
Yeah.
Like Venice is always going to be much bigger on
On a game, I'm like, there's
Right,
the
oh,
island.
yeah, yeah.
It does look like it. You can
because
see
if Venice
here.
was like on actual size, you wouldn't be able to click on it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I'm okay with them
Poe's in the
sizing it
right
up.
place, I guess. Yeah.
And
It's
then-
a
Yeah,
bit
it's
like the island between Arabia and Iran is like in a wrong place in
Imperator.
EU4. No, in EU4 it's in the wrong place, but it needed to be scaled up so that you could actually see it
actually
and click
see
on it
Yeah.
and use it tactically.
But as for the river, here's the river down here.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit farther down than Venice.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's accurate. Next in our Geography 101 lesson.
What do you just going back to this map, what do you think about the flags that we see there? And you can see like the flames behind the flags and the swords crossing.
Oh,
because I
lovely.
think that looks amazing.
It's stunning, absolutely stunning. I love it.
And
That
it's
is
a very
a great way to show who you're at war with.
Yes, it's a very nice visual, and it's very easy to spot when you compare, like, the flag in Genoa compared to Montferrat, or however you pronounce it.
It's also just a massive improvement over CK2, where sure, the flags are nice, but like they stand out a little bit too much, in my opinion, and they don't really blend in very well. But like on this now, look at that. Look at it. It's very easy on the eye, isn't it?
I hope those flames are animated.
Oh yes, that would be
yes.
good. Yeah.
Imagine if they were just stock images, like not moving or anything, it'd be a bit like But if it's animated, that would elevate it so hard.
The warframes are animated.
CK3 GIFs. We need GIFs here in these dev diaries.
Yes, we do.
So apparently the flames are animated.
Oh, interesting. Well, let's scroll back up and take a look at the anatomy of a faction.
Right, yes.
Which is interesting because the stronger they are, the faster they grow discontent.
Makes sense. No
Makes
problem with that.
Makes a lot of sense.
I want to know what the red line is, though. Is that red line they have to get over this amount before they'll start growing discontent? But if that's the case, like, what is the 96%? And where do these bars sort of...
Maybe there's a certain threshold for discontent to rise, and the 96% means they're 96% of your power.
But then what's the red line? And why is the bar only halfway there?
Not even halfway there. It's like a third of the way there.
The red part. Like
the red
dotted.
That's about
line,
halfway.
I see what you mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, halfway, I imagine it's 100%, right?
Well, discontent has to get to 100%. Military power could totally go over. Like, if everyone in your nation decides they're going to revolt against you, they're going to have a lot more military power than you.
Oh, yeah. I guess that might be it. It's like, when they are 96% of your power, that's what that would look like. And they can obviously go much, much higher if every single person joins against you. That'd be like 300% or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. I guess that could be. But you know what? I don't know. It's just confusing, and I think once we get our tooltips in tooltips, then maybe it'll be a bit more clear.
Watch, in a year we'll just look at this and know exactly what it means.
Oh yeah, 100%. But right now it's the time for speculation and wild, confabulations.
Just go back and like listen to this podcast. What a bunch of idiots! Like, of course, that's what it means.
Yeah, pretty much.
See it.
Especially for a game like CK2.
Oh, but it does say here, factions will begin accruing discontent once their military power goes over a certain threshold. Typically 80%. So that could be 80%.
That bar doesn't look like 80%, though. Right. That bar looks like 45%.
So the bar, like, halfway is 100%, right? So
yeah.
the bar is the 80% mark.
I would say...
96, so it's almost halfway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say this whole bar would be 200%.
Yeah.
Then what's the 96%?
That's their current power.
That's
their current power right now. This faction has 96% power.
Okay. And they have to get over 90%.
No, they have to get over 80% to make the discontent go faster.
So that's the dotted line.
The dotted line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Worked it out.
All right. We should be writing these dev diaries. just give us the images. We'll do it for you.
Baron von Shoes wrote this one.
Very nice.
All right.
So what do you think of the types of factions?
Now, this is something actually I really like. I like how lords can join with the unwashed masses, right, and demand like a cultural overthrow. And when you don't become independent, you become a vassal of the cultural hero, right?
Yeah.
Which is great, right? You could have think of it, the Normans could conquer Britain, well, England, I guess, and then the Saxons could rally behind some King Arthur type character and throw off the Norman yoke. And then
you'd have Rob Roy.
Yeah.
Well, they came up with a bit of a example in the comments below, where if, say, the Umayyads completely conquer Iberia, and the Castilian king is now in exile in France, and the Umayyads will have a big rebellion that, say, it wins and takes back a big chunk of Iberia, they will bring that character in. They won't use just a generated hero. They'll actually use the old king to, be the new king of Castile, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool,
chat
right? Yeah,
would like to point out to you, Loris, that you should know better because King Arthur was Welsh, not Saxon.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, but the Saxons don't know that, do they? Like,
Look, he was English, mate.
doesn't
matter. You're English too. Just accept it.
Oh,
rude.
All of the British Isles. It's just all one homogenous
one
thing.
big England.
I don't know. There's a CK2 game I'm in right now where the Umayyads have conquered England.
This just
and Ireland conquered Scotland.
I'm just so overwhelmed with rage right now.
So there's a person in chat saying, wasn't Arthur a Roman? Now, the reason why people say that is because the Britons at the time, before the Saxons, were sort of Romano-Celts, which is like where the Celtic culture of Britain was before the Saxons came, and that's what Wales is today. It's the descendants of the Romano-Celts rather than the actual non-Celts, because the Romans integrated pretty well into Celtic culture. That's where Arthur as a Roman comes from. That's why. There we go. History lesson.
We've moved from Geography 101 to History 101.
Yeah.
Is it actually? Isn't this Mythology 101 at this point?
Yeah, I guess
was Arthur even real, or is he just an amalgamation of a bunch of different people?
Arthur is a legend, right?
What's interesting about our factions here is the Independent, the Claimant, and the Liberty one are essentially just ported over from CK2. Reducing crown authority, replacing your liege, and getting independence. The Populist one and the Peasant one, though, those are very interesting.
Yeah. Where's the ones?
Well, the peasant faction is just okay. Unrest and rebels that way. They sucked really badly in every way. They were just annoying. They weren't even remotely engaging to play with. So we've turned it into a faction instead, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there is when factions go wrong, shown down at the bottom.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What happened here is they were trying to
wrong.
Make it so the peasants didn't pop up in, like tiny little stacks in every county and be just an annoyance and no fun. And instead they added up, we're going to put them with each duchy. But then they added up the military power of all counties in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested in what the little symbols mean in that. So there's 2 diamonds next to the numbers, right? I'm guessing that's the number of knights possibly in the army. Do you think? That's my speculation.
It could be their. What do they call the advantage? It is advantages, isn't it? What gets added to your dice rolls? Isn't that what they call advantage? Yeah. Something like that, anyway.
Modifiers.
Yeah, the modifiers. It's basically like that. I think that's what it is.
One thing we can see here is these lovely little red arrows showing that they're taking too much attrition.
Yeah, everyone's taking
attrition. I wonder why.
What did we say? It was 8.8 million people or something.
There was another thing that was mentioned in the comments regarding the factions. So there can be multiple claimant and multiple populist factions. They can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
But there can only ever be one independence, liberty, or peasant rabble faction at a time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while I agree that independence and liberty factions they could probably do with just having one at a time, I completely disagree with the peasant rabble being one at a time, because say you owned all of Europe, and you've got some unrest in Iberia, and you've got some unrest in Scotland. these peasant rabbles aren't going to be communicating with each other. They don't go, okay, let's rebel at the same time. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Like, they should totally have separate rebel factions for the peasants.
A different peasant faction for each region, sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think they
something
get
like
covered
that.
by the populist, right? Because that's for religion and culture ones, right?
Well, I mean, just say you manage to do a really good job of converting everyone to English. Like, there should still be more than one peasant faction.
All right, the peasant faction is seeking to pay fewer taxes. Maybe you're just crushing them all over. And so they all rise up, and they hear rumors of people rising up in Scotland, and so... But then it should be, like,
where are they going to
delayed?
hear these rumors? They're bloody peasant rabble. The clue's in the name. It's just rabble.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, these guys are rising up less against their, the overlord of the entire country and more against their local liege. Because, the dude's taxing too hard and, I got mouths to feed. You're not going to be like, oh, but what is this guy in Scotland doing? Oh, he doesn't want to, raise arms yet. So I think I'll wait. That's not going to happen. There should totally be more than one.
So, like Jin is saying in chat, the icon is a representation of the quality of the army. Higher quality through higher knights or men-at-arms ratio. Lower quality would be levies only.
I see.
So peasant rabble.
Yeah, peasant
Low
rabble.
quality.
I quite like
Yeah,
the
but
idea of being like, if you're a lord and you join the peasants, you're basically fighting alongside just awful troops, and you have your one good army trying to support them.
I'm sure there's probably some examples of that as well.
Yeah, I wonder if there must be a historical precedent for that.
We do have this lovely war screen here.
I love that. I think it looks great.
Same here.
Honestly,
That's fantastic.
looking at this map, it reminds me more of the original CK compared to the CK2.
Yeah.
The art style.
Oh. It looks like a map that's someone's just dipped in tea. I appreciate that.
One thing I would say is possibly quite important, especially from the experience of CK2. The declare defeat might be a bit ambiguous, like surrender. Oh, what's it in CK2? I often clicked when I was first playing the game the surrender button rather than the enforced demands button. If you ever did
I remember
that.
Northern Lion doing that in one of the multiplayer games.
Yeah, with the I think it was with the Roomba and Quill. I think it was when I first
I
discovered
think he
Northern
surrendered
Lion.
to the Aztecs.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that definitely happened.
Yeah, they were doing that in Iberia. They were like the Four Kings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the Aztec one. That's when the Aztecs came in.
Now,
Randomly, I guess. As the Aztecs tend to do.
Suggest is it's really easy to fix. You could just color coordinate these, right? Make declare defeat red and enforce demands green. And then you go, red bad, green good. And then you're not going to click on it, right?
White peace, coincidentally, could be white.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I was going to go for purple, but I see your logic.
Oh, I just thought of another problem I have. Independence wars. You can't, if you are, say you are France, right? And you're looking at the Holy Roman Empire, they're like, they're your enemies, you hate these fellas, but they're going to have an independence war, they're going to have a big rebellion against them. There is diddly dick you can do about it. You can't support the rebels, you can't, join them in their war, and that's just a bit, And if you declare war on the Holy Roman Empire while they're at war with their rebels, to think, I'm going to help these guys out, you're still hostile to the rebels. I think that's another missed trick. Like, there could be a whole system of, foreign support for rebellions. Like, that's totally a thing.
Yeah, asking for support from a foreign crown to support.
StarCheck asks, couldn't you ally one of the rebels through marriage and get called in that way? No, because it's not a new country. Rebellions now don't spit off a completely separate country. It's like it's entirely internal. Unless
you're still allowed to call foreign powers into those internal wars, which could be a possibility. It might be the case. I don't know.
Maybe.
Cool
you know how you'd fix this? You let people raid even if they're not Norse, and they're just like, I'll just raid your borders then. While you're busy, I'm just gonna raid your borders.
Yeah. We go get buck. Burn Cologne.
Yeah, I mean, this, like I said, it's a great dev diary, and I love a lot of the things in it, but there's just really minor parts. It's like, you kind of missed a trick.
Well, especially if there was the people with the independence faction, if one part of that independence faction was the same culture group as you, or the same religious group, and they were fighting people that were a different culture or religion.
Like, imagine if you're Genoa.
Yeah.
Like, Genoa's totally Italian. Like, you'd think he'd be, like, completely in support of this, or helping the Holy Roman Empire. I mean, yeah.
Like
I just think they missed a trick.
It could be. Yeah. It could be possible that you could call him in. Don't know for sure. We'll have to wait for the Alliance Dev Diary, right?
There you go. We have more rebels here. Populists and peasants. The populists also have that dash line, which does look to be about 80%, maybe?
Yeah. What they said about the peasant rabble is you'll just tick up at a constant rate. They don't have to get over a certain threshold.
Which makes sense because there is no dashed line. So it supports our earlier supposition about what's happening.
Indeed.
So what I hope they tie this into plague mechanics too, which I don't know if it's the start of the game. I hope it is because it became such a huge part of CK2 for me. There's
going to be like individual like diseases in provinces, I think, but they're not going to have the Reaper's Due system at launch.
Because like after the Black Death, I believe like peasants' revolts became quite popular across Europe, right? As taxations increased and peasant class became a lot more powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Although there's decidedly less peasants.
Yeah.
Yes, which made their work more valuable.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. There's one thing that annoys me about this picture, and that is the piece of land that the Holy Roman Empire owns on the east side of the Elbe.
yeah.
But that's it. I love everything else.
I mean, it wouldn't be CK2 without like a bit of border gore, and it certainly wouldn't be the Holy Roman Empire without border gore, right?
And am I wrong, or is this the first time we've actually seen the map in a dev diary that wasn't on the terrain mode?
Well, isn't it like the Imperator map where if you zoom in far enough, then it stops being... I think it is the same map.
That's what they showed us at PDXCon, but they've not shown in a dev diary a picture of it.
No.
That's fair.
I haven't shown in the dev diary the zooming out stuff, which was still a little bit work in progress, I think, in PDXCon, but like...
Yes.
Wait until they reveal that.
Well, at PDXCon, they were still missing parts of the map. Like, the map was there, but the continents were just sort of, or the countries were just sort of missing because they weren't finished yet.
Yeah, I like it. The flag isn't, like, for being a randomly generated flag, it's not ugly.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. It looks like it fits.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I do like how you can see at a glance what kind of title it is as well. Like above the Holy Roman Emperor flag, there's got an emperor's crown, and then above the other ones, there's a duchy's crown and a kingdom's crown.
Yeah, that screenshot shows the entire lot, right? You got a kingdom, you got an empire, you got a county in Lubeck, you got the duchies in Norbach. But it's really clear which one's which.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It is interesting that the flag takes precedence. You compare it to the CK2, where the ornamentation around the flag takes over.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I prefer this.
Rather ridiculously for empires.
Yeah, and you can those flags are like available on the forums as your profile pictures. Mm-hmm. And there's some really, really big ones. The Emperor flags are huge. But I like it. It's good.
We also have what happens when your faction, or when the faction succeeds or fails. And what you can do to stop a faction from coming here.
Use your hooks on people.
Yes. Yep. If you have a hook on someone through blackmail or favors, they can't join a faction.
Which makes the Spy Master style of play a whole lot more appealing. It was never not appealing, but now it's even more appealing.
Yeah. And my realm would be completely held together through just knowledge of affairs. That's it. It's like, you can't rebel because I could just tell your wife and she won't be happy. It's like, oh no. Okay, fine. No,
Dread and blackmail is right, the play style.
There is the standard as well, arranged marriages, as long as they have a marriage with you. But then their children come down the line, and you know they'll have claims, and so you're going to have to deal with more claim wars.
Yeah.
Claim factions. Which was an issue in CK2. Like
that's a problem they used to have in history as well.
I know, right?
It's great. I love it.
And really TJ got lost in DJ's black hole, apparently. Agamadeg is what was decided.
Yep. That's the story. We're going with it. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all. I mean, if you keep your vassals happy enough, they will never join any kind of faction.
Yeah,
or scared enough, because dread totally works for the same way.
Yeah,
if they're scared enough of you, they'll also not join a faction.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, giving more options for how you control people is great.
So it seems if your empire gets large enough, you want to go intrigue or diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to love you or hate you.
Yeah,
fear you,
and it gives you incentive of putting your friends on powerful positions, right?
Is it better to be loved or feared? Isn't that the quote from someone?
Machiavelli,
someone else.
Who?
Damn it, Ed, I've got 7 kingdoms to rule.
Of course it's him. Of course it was him. Okay.
And Machiavelli, of course, based the Prince book a lot on what the Borgias were doing in Italy. Cesare Borgia, I believe.
Yeah,
I mean Alfred.
What?
No, the guy who played the main character in the Borgias TV show also played Alfred in the latest Batman.
Which TV show? There were two of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, the one that he was the lead character in. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's the European one, and then there's like the HBO or whatever one it was, the US one, which both apparently went into development at the same time. One of them's a lot more historically accurate. But
one of them had a whole lot of sex in, so I assume it's the HBO one.
Yes, the American one did. The European one had a lot of torture and shots of how they actually executed people back then.
So it's torture porn or just regular porn, basically, is what we're talking about. Lovely.
We Europeans, we shoe in for the torture any day.
Yeah.
Well, we did invent the brass bull in Europe. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of brass bulls and, sacrifices to gods that you can do with bulls and stuff, there were some changes in the Imperator Dev Diary this week.
Yeah, no more piggies. No more piggies.
Indeed.
For Monotheus, anyway.
You want to lead us on this one, Lambert, with your, 1,000-something hours in Imperator?
I guess if we're starting with the religion stuff, so it always felt very strange that if you're playing as Judea, you sacrificed a pig to get stability, which is weird because it's just not what they did. So they're changing that to be less pig-like. So yeah, it's just another little flavor thing that's making the game a bit more historically accurate. Which is great.
And not potentially offensive to people, too.
That too, yes, that helps. I think in this dev diary, the best thing is like the heritages.
Yes.
30 new heritages for Greek miners is, it's really helpful. You just make all your games feel just a bit different. Have you read through the heritages?
Somewhat. I don't have them memorized, though.
Yeah, so...
Did you...
There's quite a few right here.
Do you have a favourite one? Do you have a favourite one from what they've shown here?
I like trade.
I
do.
Same.
I like building tall.
I forget which one was it. Yeah, Bosporan. That's the one.
Bosporan.
Yeah, capital.
You get import routes, and your pops promote faster.
Yeah.
You don't assimilate as fast, but...
See, I think it's funny that the Bosporan heritage isn't for the Bosporan Kingdom, because Bosporan Kingdom get the heritage of Spartacus, which is my favourite one. A bit of extra discipline, wrong culture, group happiness.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the negatives that every heritage has, I think Heritage of Spartacus is not a bad negative. Like, increased legitimacy cost,
Yeah.
It's a bit more tyranny, But if you're getting that wrong culture group happiness, that just means you can conquer, which is great.
And discipline bonuses.
This one hurts.
Yeah, that's probably the worst.
But
yeah,
the
you don't have
tax.
national slave input. Yeah, big time.
Negative money.
tech.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess your point is that you would tech high enough or fast enough that it would balance out, so that -5% wouldn't hurt as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I think Spartacus has the best one.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think it's good. I like it.
We also got some pretty new artwork.
Yeah, it is
it's
very
gorgeous.
nice.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I love that. I need to make a thumbnail with that on it. just now, just straight away. I love it.
Yeah.
More artwork is always appreciated.
So what I was curious about this is what those trebuchet-like structures are. Are they catapults or?
Yeah, they would be catapults.
I think so.
I'll have a look. Because
got the
they're
nice
not mangonels.
chain going across the harbor
Cranes,
here.
apparently. Cranes. Which makes sense. Is it a harbor? No, because is it a harbor? No.
Well, yeah, it's the siege of the siege of the Syracuse harbor.
Right.
By
so
the
cranes would make
Carthaginians.
sense, right? Because they're like loading and unloading stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's not the things that are actually shooting them, which does make it does look like, those are big, artillery pieces just firing.
That's what it looked like when I looked at it. It was like, I can't remember howitzers being in the ancient world.
Wooden howitzers. The Age of Sail has just got very different.
Oh my god, they're using cranes to attack him. They just like swing it around like a wrecking ball. So we got
they've
It's like a wrecking ball.
Oh god. But yeah,
it's impossible to say that word without that song coming up, isn't it? Now?
No, I don't think
Not
so.
anymore. No.
No.
It's too ingrained in the cultural consciousness now. The fiery balls of death there are being fired by ballista. That's a ballista there in the back left.
I see.
Which is nice, seeing a ballista on a wall. Maybe, Total War can take a little bit of a cue from that. Ballistas can go on walls. They're just made of bloody wood. God damn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But this isn't about Total War. This is about Imperative. But yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Total War.
Not yet. Not until Troy
They've
comes
also
out, anyway.
adjusted pop resource change and religious conversion speed.
The resource change is interesting because now Freeman will also give you a bit of tax, which is very, very interesting. Like, it's no longer, your pops aren't directly, I only do this one thing. They actually now have all pops can sort of do a little bit of everything. Like, your citizens give you tech and money. Your freemen will give you manpower and money. Your slaves will give you trade goods and money. And your tribesmen will give you tax and money. So I like it a lot more. It does water down kind of what the pop's identity is, but it's also more realistic.
Yes, because your freemen weren't just not paying taxes.
No, they definitely, they pay taxes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, we just fight in the army, like all 5 million of us. We're just there for the army when we're eventually called up. My son, he'll be in the army if we need him. But if not, then I'm just going to sit here doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I'm not going to spend any money on the market. I'm just going to, chill at home, make babies. Yeah. That's it.
And I suppose, it stops your economy being so entirely based on slaves, right? Which is what most economies in-game are based around. But I think historically there were some places that didn't rely so heavily. I think Persia historically did.
Yeah. Atropatene, I think, was a place that didn't have slaves.
Yeah.
Or Adiaben, one of the two. But yeah, it'll make that an option. I think maybe there's going to be some laws for certain places, maybe when we have a Persia update, where it's like, okay, we can emancipate all the slaves, and you have none, but then you just work on, you have a massively increased manpower pool because all your slaves are now freemen, and freemen also give you money. So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. I always like the idea of oh no, actually no, slave revolts can't form nations, can they? Okay. No,
a long time since I negotiated with slaves.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather just fucking murder them, in fairness.
They can.
I don't think I've ever negotiated with them.
Well,
no, you just murder them.
I mean,
back in the mines,
infantry,
mate.
Right?
Get back in the mine. You are not... Spartacus didn't manage it, and he was a legend. You're just some filthy idiot in the mines. Get back in the mines.
Apparently, chat is saying yes, they can. Valerian negotiated with them once. It was the worst decision of their game.
See, you should have negotiated. Get back in the mines, or I'll murder you. That's
if they can form their own nations, then surely that slave state will go on to form their own slavery, right?
Oh yeah, no, they totally would.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of historical. There's a few, one of the first servile wars for Rome, like the slaves that rebelled, not all of the slaves that they freed stopped being slaves. So,
And
Spartacus was a lot more fair. Everyone that he freed was free.
And the Mamluks famously, don't have any qualms about slavery, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like freedom for me, but not for thee.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you think about the conversion speed slowing down?
Well, I hope it still stays the same for proselytizing religions. Or is that just a blanket thing? I don't mind it, to be honest.
Well, it says base religion conversion speed.
Right.
I think you're going to get bonuses if you, depending on what idols you have. Your main, your 4 gods. I think I remember from one of the previous dev diaries that if you have all 4 from your religion, you get a bonus to conversion speed. I think that's the case. So I guess if you want to be a proselytizing religion, then you can do it. But this just also makes syncretization more viable.
Yeah,
which is great. Like that's
which is
fantastic.
Historically, right?
There's several nations in the game that are like the ruler is of, say, Zoroastrian religion, but like almost all of his country is Khalidic.
Yeah.
Armenia being a decent example of that. So you'd imagine that Armenia would have a lot of Khalidic idols, so that their patron gods would be Khalidic, so that the Khalidic pops in their nation would be happier.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it. I think it's good.
Yeah. I don't think like when Rome went into Gaul, they didn't really convert people to the Hellenic faith. I mean, they still kept their old gods until Christianity went late into the empire, right?
You're just like, oh, that's a cool god. That's a bit like our god. It's the same god. It's just a translation error. It's the same person.
It's just got a poor taste in fashion. That's all.
Yeah,
you should be wearing trousers. That's what real gods wear.
Oh yeah.
So Imperator is pushing that hybridization of religion is very important, but then we have, on the other hand, EU4.
Oh, yes.
Which is very against hybridization for religions.
Now, I love this dev diary. It's gorgeous.
It just makes Catholicism late game viable.
Yeah.
Which is like great.
I just love how the Counter-Reformation actually does something now. It's not just like a little pop-up. There's a Council of Trent, and then there's like a certain negotiation that goes on.
And you can re-engage the Crusades. You can have more Crusades.
That's right.
I mean, who doesn't want more Crusades?
I know, exactly.
Change it to
apart from the Byzantines,
Crusader Universalis.
Yeah. And Giga will be happy because they've base EU4 is integrated to Gracia, sort of.
There's a huge boost to the HRE too with that the rise in imperial authority.
Oh yeah, Libertas Ecclesiae.
Yeah,
I love that. Just making them like work more in tandem. That's great. Love it.
Absolutely. So you really want to be if you're the emperor, you really want to be fighting that war big time.
Yeah. Valagain says, "Man, TJ missing this conversation is a tragedy. Damn that black hole." Yeah, he would be very into this.
Yeah.
Or arguing against this. One of the two.
He'd be
very into the conversation.
Exactly.
Now, the investigate heresy one is a bit interesting, because I don't know about you, but if I'm playing a Catholic, I want to get that Reformation to pop quite quickly and then stub it out like as soon as I can, really. If it happens,
yeah,
now,
but from a roleplay perspective, if you're playing Catholic and a roleplay perspective, you obviously don't want the Reformation to fire.
Now,
Or
from a
if
roleplay
perspective, you don't know that it's going to.
Or if you do want it to fire, but you want it to fire a little later, maybe you are planning to switch to Protestant, but you want a little more time to get your ideas group finished or something.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Like, people will find ways to meta this.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
And then
I like the Immensa Aeterni Day as well, the one for institution embracement cost. Cardinals will spread the institution if the institution has been embraced in a province of another cardinal or the capital of the Curia, so Rome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool, because like you can totally see it happening. Like the cardinals are obviously coming to Rome to meet with Mr. Pope Man all the time. Mm-hmm. And then they come back and they bring his ideas and his, what he has embraced as the Pope. Mm-hmm. Well, it's clearly God's will that, this new institution is righteous. So they're going to bring it to where they're from. That's awesome. If you're playing as a Pope, you could have, in multiplayer, I guess, you could have like bidding wars between the different players, all vying, I will pay you this amount of money and support and all that if you put a cardinal in my country. Like, that'd be amazing. I can just imagine the potential of it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Which makes me wonder what it's going to be like for the greatest LAN party next year.
Yeah.
With all the backroom deals.
The Pope is going to be very powerful.
No, like
as usual.
Last event, the Pope was amazing. Like the player Pope, he really got into character. He was going around and blessing people.
Wasn't he an actual bishop?
No, that was
was that the year before?
Yeah.
Okay.
And funnily enough, he wasn't even Catholic. I think he was a Protestant priest, I think.
Close enough. You do the God thing, sit on the seat.
Come back into the fold just for this EU4 game.
No, it's corruption, isn't it? It's a spy.
That's right, yeah. It's true.
But
they got stomped pretty quickly, sadly, like 2 games ago.
Yeah.
That's why. Maybe that's why. Just secretly plotting against his own demise.
We also have our Council of Trent, which will last about 50 years.
Yeah.
Max.
No, I really like this. Because it's it's all nations who are Catholic participate in this. It's kind of like the Japan mechanic, right? But obviously with the Japan mechanic, it's only you participating. In this one, it's every single Catholic nation that you negotiate with, which could be an issue with the AI. I'm thinking, like if the AI takes a view that you don't really wants to go down a path you don't want to go down.
It's gonna be interesting to see how the AI reacts to a lot of this.
Yeah, unless there's like new diplomatic options to ask for their support, possibly in your side of the argument.
I think there's also going to end up being a meta where it's like, okay, in the first concession, it's objectively better to go with this option. In the second concession, it's objectively, we're going to do this, and it's going to be the same every time. I'm really hoping that's not going to be the case, though.
Yeah. It's like Japan is kind of like that, isn't it? I mean, you kind of know which ones you kind of want to go for.
Yeah.
You don't want to go down historical Japan and get all those horrible debuffs, like having closed borders. Unless you want to roleplay, I guess.
And the fact that you can take different...
I absolutely disagree with you. 100% disagree with you. They shouldn't move the date to 1453, you heretic! Basilia Romaean will rule the world.
As a great vassal of Venice. Right?
No. No. Venice is evil. 1204, never forget. never forgive.
Then why are we playing as Venice? Or are you
I was
forced to
outvoted. There's 4 of you and 1 of me. No, but the funny thing about Venice, they've still got a lot of the ornaments that they stole from Constantinople. Like the is it the bronze horses? They came from Constantinople and they're still hanging in Venice. Fucking traitors.
Well, there's
traitors
a
to
lot
the
of
faith that I don't agree with.
Aren't there a lot of things in British museums that technically belong to other nations?
I think all of the British Museum is, but
there's a lot there that I wouldn't say all, but there is a lot that perhaps
but
has
that's
origins
all,
elsewhere.
That's basically all European museums.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, all the ones that had empires anyway. I don't know if the Irish Museum has got many, or I don't know.
And this is the last potato.
Oh my goodness!
I have to say, I actually
Well, you lived in Ireland, you're allowed to do it, right? That's our caveat, as official caveat of the podcast.
Yeah, I
actually found the London Museum to be more interesting than the British Museum, in my opinion. Just because the history of the city, all the way up from being a small little village pre-Roman, which was barely a settlement, to what it is now.
It's a lovely. Well, I would say almost all the museums are really, really nice in London.
The museum in Middlesbrough
and free too.
Was mostly about dinosaurs, which totally suited me as when I went as a 10-year-old, because I was like, dinosaurs was my thing.
Oh yeah.
And Romans. There's a lot of Romans there as well.
Well, I think
and on the topic of Romans, wait, no, we've already done it.
Well, talking of Romans and Rome, the seat of the Holy See, they do have the nice new setup here for the Council of Trent.
Yeah.
Which is
like if you go for secret confessions in the first reform, you've done something wrong, right? I mean, like,
what's the other side?
You get tolerance of heretics and opinion of heretics. So.
Well, the other one is plus 1% heretic missionary strength.
Yeah,
that seems better.
Well, exactly. You want to get rid of it,
then
right?
Conciliatory for the second confession, plus 5% institution spread. Or you could go 10% true faith institution spread.
Yeah.
And if you're... I
like the balanced buff the best. I think.
So is it just me, or these cardinals look like they're ready to stand on the coast of the channel and just be like, "You shall not pass, Protestantism."
That's right. Yeah. The Anglicans are coming.
There's a gap formed. Send another cardinal. Hold the line.
It's going to be like D-Day.
I will say though, they've failed because there is a little bit there that is. Calais looks like it's owned by England right now.
Sure. It's Dunkirk all over again.
God damn.
Yeah, it does look like it's
I think we should move away before we make the cardinal to... Let's move on. Comparison shouldn't go ahead.
Well, that's actually the end of this lovely diary, or Dev Diary by Johan.
Yeah.
Really, I like the UI for the Council of Trent. It looks good.
Yeah. Same here. It's beautiful. I just love the additional Catholic stuff. Oh, it's nice. Lovely little Dev Diary. Good stuff.
As for other stuff, we've got Hoy, which is mostly just about a patch updates.
Speaking of Dunkirk.
Yes!
There we are.
I mean, where the line was not held.
No. Yeah, I actually haven't read this one, so... Take the lead.
To be honest, there's not much huge in it. There's just a few balance issues, a few bug.
You don't need Danzig to form Poland, Lithuania.
No, yeah.
Okay. Political violence can no longer return to France if France has capitulated. I feel like this is very historically inaccurate.
Increased tech stealing bonuses?
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
Increased tech stealing extra bonus outcomes?
Yeah.
So, I mean, tech stealing, it sounds like it's a lot more profitable now.
There's nothing really that stands out though, I don't think, in this one. There's bug fixes. I mean, it's post-release, very quickly post-release. There's some fixes to the peace conferences, which I think are still...
No, there is a
still
standout. There is definitely a standout change here. Taito can no longer serve as chief of army if he's dead. I mean, that's just... Zombie Taito, chief of army, just seems like the way to go, you know?
Exactly. So I'm leading the troops everywhere. Army of the undead, you'd be unbeatable.
Yeah.
Portugal will not be able to complete intervention in Spain or nationalist intervention if it is in a faction with Spain. Oh,
yeah.
Cutting off more stuff. Oh, there you go. There you go. This bug. Mexico should no longer be able to send shipments to Spain if the war is over.
Yeah.
I had that happening every month for like 2 years. Oh. Until I
think
entered
they
that
also
game.
fixed the fact that like if France sends aid, they send nothing. Is that right? Or was that the last one? I think it was in this one somewhere.
Carlos Spain should now have access to a naval advisor.
Yeah, they don't need a navy. It's not like they've got... Oh, wait.
Just gonna be a martyr
France.
again.
It's not like they have a navy after the British sank it many times. And by the British, I mean the weather. But it's the weather is British, so it counts. Counts.
Yeah,
France should now be able to invite a country once into the non-intervention committee. Oh yeah, because they could just keep
they do it more than
inviting
once?
it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I didn't actually go down that path before, actually.
I saw it in a multiplayer game. Oh.
Yeah, it's quite a short one.
There's new Spanish leader. Niceto Alcala Zamora? I don't know, I never took Spanish. But that guy is now a new leader. I guess it's more
you can do better than that.
accurate.
Come on, try it again. It's too funny.
Niceto Alcala Zamora. You do better.
There we go. Nailed it.
I didn't know that. Does that mean he's got a new portrait? Because I do like looking at the portraits of That's Ryan.
Of course you want to look at the art.
The artist likes looking at portraits. Who would have thunk it?
Oh, my game's not been updated. I can't look at the files. The first thing I do when a new expansion comes out is go straight into the files and look at the portraits. Before I even play it. Let's have a look. Give that a little update. Fixed
AI not taking zero cost decisions. It's too expensive. I don't have any money to buy this free item.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
That's
the
very
AI
true.
is now unable to send volunteer air wings. Again.
Or do they not able to? I didn't even realize. The air part of Hearts of Iron is not something I'm terribly versed in. I couldn't figure out how to send planes to Spain during their civil war, and it's like, all right, well, I guess my tanks are going to die.
Yeah, it's a bit like awkward because you're only allowed to send a certain number, and then you have to like create a subdivision of that number, and then you send that into the airfield, and then.
Yeah, there are some things about the Hoi UI, I should say, that sort of make me scratch my head a bit at times.
Yeah,
Which like with the air stuff, it's really important though. Like you can't win a game without air superiority. Essentially, like you really need.
Which
that.
is why I'm terrible at it, because I'm terrible at the air game.
Yeah,
I can move troops. That's something I'm used to. I do it in all the other games. None of the other games have air power.
I've gone the other way now. Like I overfocus air and overfocus navy, and I end up having a shit army. So it's like,
well,
we
some of
should
the games may
call
not
for
have
nation then.
air power, but they do have space power.
Oh yes, yeah.
I thought you were going to say Hearts of Iron now has, it goes up to the 60s, and we've got the space race.
This is probably, I think, the smallest diary we have all week.
Yeah.
It fits on a page without needing to scroll at all.
Yeah. This is just another very quick post-release fix.
Yep.
Again, I don't believe there was any massive standouts.
No.
I think strikecraft damage modifiers not being applied is pretty big, because I used air wings, the hangar bays quite a lot. I just love the look of them. It's like, oh, you're now, engaging the enemy and all your little strike craft come out. It looks amazing. So I used it a lot, so that's good. I like it.
And they were supposed to be highly fixed and improved for this patch.
Yeah.
Or 2.6. So it's good to have them actually working as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Space fighters are bad. Make them bad. No. Make them amazing. Look, right, who killed the Death Star? Because it wasn't a big old ship. It was a single dude he had a squad, but it was a little ship with a missile that can somehow turn. It doesn't matter. There's one dude.
They don't make sense, but see, if you have a gigantic ship with gigantic guns and you have the little strike craft, they can dodge the gigantic guns. Which is the whole point of having them, which is why the big ship would then send out their own strike craft to kill that strike craft.
Yeah. It's like, little submarines being good at taking out, big ships. The one thing I use them most often for, though, is instead of needing to use point defense, because the strike craft will take down missiles as well, which is great.
There is also... there is also the mention here, if you want to do crossplay multiplayer with Steam and any other release platform, Plaza, GOG, Microsoft Store, you need to opt into the crossplay beta, Stellaris test. So they are trying to get that up and running, which I hope they do for their other games as well. For people that use the Xbox Game Pass to play all the games.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
That opens a lot more things for multiplayer.
There's a couple of people trying to join the Imperator multiplayer that couldn't because of the crossplay not being working quite as well as it could do. Yeah. As in it wasn't working at all.
Well, it wasn't working at all before, because I know someone that had access to Hoi that way, and they wanted to play in a multiplayer that I was hosting on my server, and they couldn't. It was utterly impossible.
Yeah, so it's good that they get that fixed. Great stuff.
And that's it for Dev Diaries this week.
Yeah, we see two very short ones at the end there, mostly, which I think you have to just come to expect when there's just a post-release, right? Because there's going to be a few weeks of bug fixes, and then there's going to be a quiet session, and then it'll be a good while until they announce the next big thing.
Which next big thing is, of course, Imperator coming out next week.
Yes, of course, very excited for that.
31st.
Very excited for that loading screen.
It's the loading screen. It's the main seller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
good. One thing I did just notice now as well is they've got the mirrors on top of the walls to reflect the sunlight and try and set the ships on fire.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that. That's something kind of
interesting.
Is that what they're being used for? I don't know. Maybe. Because I know that was a tactic from someone, but I didn't know it was like this early back.
Would that even work?
I don't know.
I think it worked at some point.
Or is it just shields? Are they just shields that are just gleaming?
Yeah, like silver shields, reflecting sunlight to a focused point.
No, it's definitely like a beam coming off it, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Mythbusters tried it and it didn't work. Well, Mythbusters is 6 people? Imagine getting a ton of people. I guess they had, they could put the whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point is, it might have blinded people instead then. And so they couldn't fire back effectively.
The sun was a lot more powerful back in Roman times. That's why, on Roman films, like in, Roman period films, it's all got a bright lens on the thing. It's because the sun was closer to the earth. That's right. Science, that's what it is.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think that's even remotely accurate, though.
Look, Romans thought so, I believe. This is a flat Earth podcast. We established that in podcast number 3.
But how can it be a flat Earth podcast when we lost TJ to a black hole?
Oh yeah, true.
It's a flat Earth, not a flat black hole.
yeah. I think there is flat Earth people who believe that there's a flat Earth, but every single other object in the galaxy is circular. It's just the Earth that's flat.
Yes,
All you have to do is load
Mars
up Stellaris
is
so you can see Sol 3 is not flat.
And Mars is
Oh,
Mars.
goodness.
Mars is a sphere, but the Earth is flat. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Personally,
Nice.
I subscribe to the Earth is a donut theory.
Yeah. The Earth is shaped like big donuts in Super Mario Kart 64. That's with a magma center. That's what it is. And I will argue with anyone who disagrees.
But what kind of donut?
Yeah, like big donut. You know,
Jelly
Super Mario
donut?
64. No,
Jelly-
big donut. The battle map.
No.
No, you haven't played. Oh man, you're missing out. Big donut was the best.
Yeah, I don't think I played that one.
Big donut. It was big donut. It was like 4 fort. No, oh man, Super Mario 64. It's great.
God damn it! Of course, someone's modded in flat Earth into Stellaris.
Mate, oh my goodness.
Of course.
Oh,
That is gorgeous. Look at that.
it does look pretty, but at the same
It's
time,
so dumb. I love it.
no.
Well, it looks like I mean, what if we had a ring world?
But still,
in
I mean,
Stellaris? Human, like
it's not
whatever species
not
made
flat.
ring.
concave.
Not the ring worlds like we have the megastructures, but the
Oh my god, it should be like flat Earth megastructures we could build.
They're just flatten the ring world.
Yeah. Or no, like a doomsday weapon rather than crushing it, like flattens it into like a
there's an
flat
event.
pancake.
Our
It's like
science
two, like-
ship exploring in the Eldheltha system has spotted a very, very strange planet, a flat planet of artificial origin. Even stranger, a primitive civilization seems to inhabit it. Bound to the ground by artificial gravity generators, those primitive beings are most likely going to be very confused once they leave their world. Nobody has any idea how this thing came to be, and nobody probably ever will. Peculiar.
Jesus.
It's great stuff. No, I want that doomsday weapon though. I want basically like 2 massive metal frying pans, but like clap, and that's it. Squishes the planets into a disc.
Do you know what one thing
God.
I do that is not here on the the patch is I believe there's still the issue where if you build a juggernaut and then you save your game and leave it and you come back, the juggernaut will quite often not be there anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yes, I had that happen. It was
Well,
very
that's a
sad.
bit iffy. Those are very expensive.
Yes.
I would say that's quite major. It hasn't happened with me yet, but like
There's also still issues going on with the
Wait, no,
fleet.
it's literally right there in front of you. It's the second patch.
Oh, wait, it's the second part.
yeah,
This fixes the issue with juggernauts that have been upgraded disappearing. Okay. Oh, that had been upgraded. Yeah. There you go. I looked at Starbase and I guess hashtag blame the baby. Let's just do that. That was an issue.
It'd be great to have a get out of jail free card like that.
Yeah.
Hey, I still got
Pregnancy
5.
less so much, but I guess it's upsides and downsides.
Yeah. All I've got to fall back on is the fact that I'm a massive idiot. My own excuse.
See, I just didn't agree or disagree with you. I just looked at the chat. So I'm going to take the moral high ground here and say that I was right, which isn't very moral, but whatever. It's good.
There's
So
also
one day we'll be saying hashtag blame the teenager. I'm going to get there first.
Yes. You will definitely get there first.
Yeah, so
At the moment, I'm at the moment at the hashtag blame the toddler phase. So if I've been yawning at all and TJ has to edit out a bunch of yawns, hashtag blame the toddler. But yeah, that's I guess.
Before we wrap up, I do want to talk about one slightly tangent just for a bit. The fact that Mountain Blade's coming out very, very soon.
Oh yes.
Which it's not a grand strategy game, but it used to be Paradox published, and I'm pretty sure like everyone's excited for it in the grand strategy community, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this game for a very, very long time.
I've been waiting for this game since I found Mountain Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I was like, this is really
When
cool,
was
but
it
it feels
first
like
announced?
it feels kind of out of date. Are they making a sequel? Oh, yes, they are. All right. Let's see when Bannerlord comes out.
Like, Mountain Blade Bannerlord coming out used to be said in the same breath as Victoria 3 being made.
Yeah.
So,
Duke Nukem Forever. So that sort of.
I mean, even Half-Life has now got a sequel.
That's true. Yeah.
Come on, Paradox. Vicky 3 needs to happen. You're the last one.
Oh, you know what? We'll release it now, and it's going to be in VR, and hardly anyone's going to be able to play it because it's
It's going to be a mobile game.
Oh, God, no. Don't hurt me like this.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. Imagine if Mountain Blade was VR. I would actually get a VR setup just to play Mountain Blade VR. That would be actually... I'd play VR.
I would cry for not being able to afford one, but...
I mean, I couldn't even. I'd take loans. I go to the bank. So, why are you asking for a loan, Lawrence? Oh, I want to buy a video game I really like. It's like, that's a sound investment.
But yeah, I'm definitely getting Mountain Blade, and I'm going to play it a hell of a lot.
Yeah. So it's early access, right? Which have you managed to
The
play the
beta.
beta at all?
No.
I have.
No,
I've
I
gotten
really
I am
access.
enjoy
I
it.
haven't really-
insanely jealous.
I haven't really had a chance to check it out, but I do have access to the beta. For the
Can I have
it's
access
only
to your Steam
multiplayer.
account? But yeah, I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
managed to
if
play it at Gamescom, which was really
Yeah, I
good.
remember. Didn't you give a key to Remy and then he streamed it because he didn't sign any NDA?
No,
and
but
then
there
they
was
came
no
into his
NDA.
stream and like, no, you're
No,
not
there's
allowed
like
to be doing this.
There was some confusion because there was no NDA, but there was modders that had been given it beforehand. They had signed an NDA, but streamers didn't have to sign the NDA, and Remy was first to do it. When he got told off by modders, it was a huge confusion.
Well, because there's,
Oh, great
if you go look right now, there's 6 people streaming it on Twitch right now.
Jemmy gets.
It's really good though. The multiplayer's fantastic. You command like a little squadron, go around the map, capture points. It's really fun. And the campaign, from what little I played, it's a lot of fun and it is beautiful. It is really, really nice.
I think the campaign can probably be kind of shoehorned into being grand strategy in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Well,
Because you
it's
can totally
definitely
play
strategy.
it like that. Yeah. And it's good enough to be grand.
Yeah.
Or if you're Irish, then just, it's grand. There you go.
That's true.
How's the campaign? It's grand.
Well, they've included a lot of like added strategy stuff. So like in the old, if you play Mountain Blade, like the old system of sieging, you set up a ladder and then you shuffle up the ladder and hopefully take the castle. Now you can lay siege to a town and you can go around raiding the nearby farms and destroying the food supply, and that will lower the holdout time for the castle.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Interesting.
And as the longer you've sieged it, the more decrepit the castle becomes. It's easier to attack a beleaguered fortress than it is like a fresh one that's nice and well supplied.
As Chad is pointing out, you don't need a CB to attack in Mountain Blade.
That's true. That is very true. That is true.
That just suits me down to the ground. NoCB. That's all right.
Mm-hmm. And what factions do you think you might be playing? That's the other big one. So the first one you're going for. Got any preferences?
I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for a bit of, Byzantine style, factions. So, either the eastern or western part of the empire that fell apart. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it's
Probably
just
one of
called
them.
the Empire, isn't it? It's the Empire.
They've probably got a name as well, though, right? Surely. But
so
probably one of them.
there's Northern Empire, Southern Empire, Western Empire.
Yeah, that's going to get modded.
Yeah, I think so.
I like the look of the sturgeons as well.
Yeah.
Woodland folk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
sort of. Yeah, barbarian.
Well, they're a bit like the the begins with a V in Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Vegerians? Is that it?
The Vagers or something like that.
Vegas.
Yeah, they're a bit like them, aren't they? I love those. They have the best archers.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you played with Prophecy of Pendor, then the best archers in the game were clearly Noldor.
Yes.
Mountain Blade cast multiplayer next week. I'm fucking game for that.
I'm down for
100%.
100%.
I might be crap at the game, but I'll play it. For sure. What a surprise, Lambert going for Byzantium. James, you know me too well. Come on now. You shouldn't be surprised by that.
What about yourself,
Little
Rose? Heavy infantry?
I've looked at
Desert
it.
people?
I liked the Vikings a lot. Whatever the Vikings were in the old one. I don't remember this. Like, I can picture the map perfectly and where the people were. The ones who were, there's the snowy region, and then off to the left of the snowy region.
Yeah, they were just literally called Nords.
Okay, the Nords.
The only reason I didn't like them because they didn't have any horses.
Yeah. They had pretty good infantry, but the horses were a bit rubbish. See, I love horses. I always went with the Kyrgyz horseback archers.
Never liked the Kyrgyz.
Oh man,
yeah, they just weren't. Mongols were. I think they work best as an enemy.
I mean, there is a
Plus,
beautiful
if you have a
map.
lot of horses, it does look fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I always liked playing as the Nords as well, because they had no horses. I want to be the only horse person, because if all of your friends have horses as well, they just get in the way.
Yeah.
And there's one last guy, all your friends are like failing to kill him, and you're like, all right, I'll just wait here then until you're done.
It's why I never like playing like Swabia, because you have like the heavy knights and you have this great heroic charge and you run into the like infantry line and then you're stuck in the infantry. You go, oh shit, oh shit, and you're just like whacking your sword around, hoping you don't die.
See, I would just go and pick troops from every region, and I'd usually have some Swabian knights with myself, as well as the desert guys with their arrows.
Yeah.
And do enough to keep your heavy guys, have them hold the line somewhere up high, and take your light horses around the side and circle around. And then when you're halfway around the map, you tell your heavy knights to charge down the hill, right at whatever mob you're attacking, and then you swing around and flank them with your light horses, with yourself and your lancers.
See, that is objectively the smartest and best thing to do. However, you got like a ugly-looking ragtag army. It's not aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, F1, F3, get it done over and done with.
You want to have like a nice uniform army that all looks similar, with the same style.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I had
horse archers and I had knights to hold the center.
Yeah,
and horse archers for the flankers. It was very, and then I'd use Nords and such as get them all trained up and stick them on my castles.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the Swabian. Was it the Swabian crossbowmen? I think.
Yes. No, Rodok
crossbowmen. Yes, those guys. Yeah. You stick them with some of the Nord fully upgraded guys on a castle. Ain't no one getting through.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, the Rodoks were great for the big Pavis shields they had. It's like, I'm just going to reload. Let me just put my shield down. Like, I'm just going to hide behind this.
Everywhere is a castle with a Rodox, right? Like...
Yeah, exactly. I'll make my own castle. They're basically the Imperial Fists of Bannerlord.
Yeah.
So I'm really fortifying this position. I did a female peasant essentially, and I got to the point where we had our own kingdom down there, to the left of the desert. That whole mountainous region I had taken over.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like that's Rodok land.
Yeah, I think that's Rodok. Yeah. Rodok and Swadians, they had the same. They were around the same area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took all of that land for myself, and then I got a new job and couldn't keep playing this as much anymore because it was very. Once you step away from a save file of that, and you come back, you're like, what the hell was I doing? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially the UI and having to send everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
It's very clunky. The UI was so clunky. Love the game, but the UI.
The UI for the new one is beautiful. It's like really intuitive and it's very nice.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most is sieges, though. They had that one video of the siege from way back, and it just looked so good. Like such an improvement. Instead of jostling over 2 ladders, and you have to wait until like half your army is dead before you've got a chance to walk up a damn ladder so that you can win
And
the seat.
if you got knocked out because of an unlucky arrow, everyone they dragged your body all the way back out.
That's right. Yeah.
Oops.
I don't,
Right.
well, as like if I'm playing like the Kurds, which is normally do, you can't do sieges because you come up against any infantryman without your horse, you just die. So I had to just stand at the bottom of a ladder and like fire arrows up the ladder with my troops, and then like leave to get more ammo.
I used to like going up on the siege towers and just like firing onto the walls and like, oh, you're headshot, there headshot, oop, another headshot.
Yeah,
it was great. Oh, you just showed your Gmail there for a second.
Yeah, I was misclicked.
Speaking of, we're making this podcast very difficult for TJ to edit, so maybe we should put a cut in it now.
So it is.
Yeah, it's his fault for not being here. He could have ended it, but because he's not here, we're making it more difficult on him. This is his punishment.
He shouldn't be in a black hole.
TJ might
he needs to talk to TJ. He needs to talk to DJ about that.
DJ.
He's going to play the new Nords.
No,
I guess old Nords.
Really, I thought TJ playing. No, I can't believe that for a second.
And speaking of, you guys have seen the clip where DJ's black hole came about, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I haven't. I'll check it out. Link it to me afterwards. I'll have a gander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is. Let's see. My 4th most popular clip.
Nice.
We'll check it out for sure.
All right, so Rose, what are you up to? Where can people find you and stuff?
I'm here on Twitch. I plan to be streaming City Skylines tomorrow with the new DLC. And we'll definitely see about getting some Imperator stuff when that drops next week. As well as a giant Stellaris multiplayer game that's continuing this Saturday.
Well, that sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. And then YouTube.
What about you, Mr. Loris?
Working mostly. I've been in self-isolation for like a week. So I haven't gone to the pub. I'm dying of boredom. It's the worst. It's awful. I thought like self-isolation would be like really easy, being like self-employed and working from home. Turns out, not going to the pub, it's a huge strain. It's a huge strain.
It hasn't affected me in the slightest. But yeah, on that topic, wash your hands, people.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Follow your government's advice. Stay isolated if you should.
Yeah.
Play Animal Crossing.
You could do that. That's a possibility. I haven't played that game. But my Twitter timeline is just full of obsessed Animal Crossers.
Yeah. It's great.
What are you up to after your isolation? Any artwork coming up?
Yeah, so I've got some stuff which should be published very soon. Stuff I did a while ago for Anno should be out soon, so keep an eye on the Anno timeline and the Anno blog. Should be stuff coming out there soon, and then I've got some other stuff for Humankind which should be up. And then very, very soon I should be back making public comics. Should be done with all my commissions, so yeah.
Lovely.
Keep an eye on my Twitter and stuff. And yourself, Lambert?
Well, on this Monday coming up, I'm starting a big roleplay Stellaris multiplayer game. Nobody knows who anyone else is playing apart from me, because I'm setting it up. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it a lot, and I think people who are involved are pretty excited. So that's coming up. I'm Lambert2191, or I'm actually Lord Lambert now on YouTube. And I stream on YouTube now as well, so head on there for some Stellaris, lots of Imperator content. Archimedes coming out. I'll be doing a Judea run, trying to get a couple of achievements there. So that's going to be fun, and everything just paradoxing about. And I guess before the next podcast, I'll also be playing Bannerlord on the channel, so come and watch me
look forward to it. Definitely.
Murder the Proto-Swadians. Fuck those horsey twats. But yeah, lots of stuff coming up. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Look forward to it. Definitely play some multiplayer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We should all.
Oh,
do that.
definitely.
To get this podcast to be, affiliate on Twitch, we need to stream more than once a week.
We need like
Mountain Blade sounds like a perfect excuse.
We need one more day.
Yeah,
basically right now.
Day, son.
One more day before the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
Bannerlord release
Loris
stream.
has to make emotes.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, yeah.
I need to make a lot of art. There's a lot of stuff I need to do for this podcast. Okay, I'll do it.
All right, well, thank you for watching,
Magicka
everyone.
2 as well.
We've gotten way off track here in the last 30 minutes.
Yes.
I hope
we should play
that.
Magicka someday. No, I'm totally on board with that. I just discovered Magicka 2 like a week ago, and oh my god, it is so fun. We should totally do that. Yeah. We should totally play Magicka.
It was very popular, but I still think it's underrated.
Yeah, it's criminally underrated. It's so fun. Best multiplayer game. Love it.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, we should
Thanks,
totally
guys. Go. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Stay healthy.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that.
See you later.
Bye.
Ta-ra.